Hello.
Hello there.
Hi. Okay, so let's welcome to the show Peter Palmiotti. Where is he? Where's Peter?
I don't know. You just invited me. Said, "Hey, Marinus, come on. Peter Palmiotti is here." And I said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Jump in, right?" And then, where is he?
I don't know. Yeah, because today I sent Peter a message because Peter is working for something for German Comics. He's working on something, and I thought it would be cool that he talked about the process and how he did it. And so I asked him, would you like to talk about it? And he was like, yeah, man, that would be awesome. And so I said, let me know when you want to do it. And he said, today and at this time. So I set it up for today at this time. Usually I don't even stream this late. So, okay,
Probably asleep.
Huh?
He's probably asleep. What is the time difference between you and him?
6 hours.
Ah, okay. So
it's four in the afternoon for him.
Yeah. Maybe he's still at work. I'm not sure what he's doing in his private time.
Well, it's his time, man.
Yeah. Okay.
So I send him a reminder. I send him 2 reminders, and I can't do anything more. So if he's a no-show, he's a no-show. It was too bad. I really wanted to talk about it. But yeah. Anyway, we were just talking about the Aquaman run that he worked on, right?
Yes. I got this comics. I mean, I didn't even know that people. I mean, like I said, when I was a little bit. Let's go back in time.
Wait, Marinus, we have a few people in. Hojo's here.
Hojo's in the chat.
Hell chat, not hail, but hell.
Hey, man.
Be looking forward to this one. Yeah, so did we.
Maybe he can make it.
maybe he will drop in a little bit. Must have some of Peter's work on Peter's run on Aquaman. Yes. And Richard Corwin. Hey, welcome, Richard.
How are you doing?
Yeah. I got a few new subscribers today, and Richard as well.
Congrats.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that, man.
Yeah. Like I said, I just when I was younger and just collecting comics, I really didn't know who all these artists and creators were. Just a couple of like John Buscema and etc. But now I get older, I'm just more looking who really the creators are, because I'm appreciating these creators more now than then, because I don't know, just wanted to have cool comics, right? Just looking at the art and great stories. I didn't care much who did it, just as long as it looks cool. But now I just look at things differently. So then when you told me that Peter Palmiotti was the inker of Aquaman, I said, what? I got the whole run, right? So cool. Peter David's writing. Yeah. And I believe, what's his name? California is the artist. I probably butchered it.
California?
No,
what?
Who's the artist? Let me look at them real quick. Aquaman.
We had a few links of things that Peter did. he has a few things here on his own website. Aquaman is when I remember first seeing Peter's name. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I think he also did Punisher to 2099.
Oh, really? Also, I got that as well. Punisher 20.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, but you got almost everything. So
Yeah, that's my curse. I'm not very proud of it. Oh yeah, Jim Calafiore. I'm sorry, I butchered that. Jim Calafiore is doing a new kick-ass Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaign. Really, really good. He's doing a horror comedy. It's really cool. Yeah, but go ahead before I interrupted you.
go ahead with what?
You were talking, so I was confused.
No. Mike says Aquaman's harpoon hand never bothered me. He eventually gets it back.
Yeah.
In the Justice League animated series, that hand loss happens to him as soon as episode 2. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the part because this was probably my very first run of Aquaman. I got bits and pieces of Aquaman comics, but not really a complete run. So when I got a hold of issue 2, I didn't have issue 1 at the time, but I saw that his hand was, like a skeleton hand, and I thought to myself, what happened here? And then I, get issue 1, and then I figured out that his hand was chewed off by piranhas. So freaking cool, because I believe he lost his power or something, or somebody took over his powers and commanded the piranhas, chewing on his hand, and you see all these bones, and
wow,
that's just great stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
man, that's
yeah.
great. Richard likes popping around to see what the new generation artists are doing. Yeah, well, Peter's not really a new generation. He's a veteran from the industry.
He's a classic. Yeah.
So he's too good for us, so he doesn't show up today. But
I believe he's just forgotten.
Yeah, maybe.
He's on the way. Maybe he's stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm not sure. Are we the new generation?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty old, so. But I'm pretty new to writing, so that makes me new.
Yeah, you're new generation. It's just, I think, the new generation of franchises that come out, and right.
The old is the new black or something. You get what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Peter back from the 90s. Yeah. Yes, he's indeed from the 90s. That was a great era, 90s.
The best.
What I can show you is what Peter is working on. So I can show you without Peter's inks because he's still working on it.
Oh, you mean the inks from your work? You mean
for Perfect 10?
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Well, I have the penciled version. So Alan Goldman made this art piece, and this is fantastic art, guys. And if you buy Perfect 10 issue 3, you will get this. This is the back cover. But
you know
Alan's
what?
Sorry.
You know what? Let's make this a shill stream. If Peter is not coming, we're gonna turn this into a shill stream. We're gonna shill the heck out of Perfect 10 and everything that surrounds it. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, technically, what Peter is doing is for Perfect 10 right now, right?
Yeah.
But it would be cool to talk with him about his history with comics, what other projects, and he has his own current project which we could talk about.
Oh, curious. I didn't know.
Yeah, and if he shows up, we can discuss that also.
Cool.
Richard says, I've been into comics since about 1960.
Wow. I'm jealous because there were some real gems out there that's probably very hard to find.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You have a few classics in your collection, I think.
Yeah, but probably I'm not sure where Richard is coming from, but if he's coming from the US, I mean, for that time. I mean, even now, comics are relatively cheap there compared to Europe because, like I said, maybe in other streams, if we have let's say a classic Doctor Strange or a Captain America or even a Hulk or Superman, we pay a lot of money for that because we are international. Those comics are very hard to find in our area. Yeah,
Right.
and it's a must-have for a lot of collectors. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually we just bought the Dutch translations. You don't have that anymore.
Yes.
But back then, I think it started in the 60s, right? With Junior Press and.
Was that from the 60s? Really? Is that far away? Oh, I didn't know.
Maybe later. I'm not sure. I just know that I know them since I was a little guy. So as far as I know, they always existed.
Yeah,
So
that's true. I don't know when they began. Actually, that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, because the translated Marvel comics here in the Netherlands was made not by Marvel but called Junior Press. I believe maybe Marvel licensed them or something like that. I'm not sure how it works, but there is a Dutch company took over the Marvel license, maybe similar to Marvel UK or something like that, I believe. And they give them the rights to publish or printed Marvel work, in Dutch translation. The downside for that is I noticed that later when I was getting older, they somehow didn't print the whole complete edition of said comic. They sometimes put out 1 or 2 pages. I don't know why, but I remember that I was reading a comic and then the story, I don't know, disrupted. And because I turned the page and there's something completely different here that didn't flow. And then I realized that Marvel and even the DC version of the Dutch versions have, ripping out some parts of the comic for reasons. And then I
didn't even realize, man.
Yeah, because I got a couple of original comics from Marvel, the same one, and then I compared it. There's just a difference when it comes to page count. So yeah, that sucks. That's why I don't, touch those Junior Press comics anymore. I still got them in boxes.
This is weird. Yeah. So you can just take pages out and it doesn't affect anything. That's.
Well, I mean, you must remember that at that time we couldn't get any U.S. comics, right? At the time, it was not popular. I believe we can when companies or bookshops or that shops that sell books or I'm sorry, I'm explaining that wrong. Sell comics. It was around the 90s that we have those import comics, also known as the original comics, U.S. versions. And everything before that was very hard to find. So if you didn't know that they were actually, other versions of them, the real versions, and I mean complete versions, you only have the translated one. So that is your go-to reference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So it's a little bit.
This modern translation, by the way, not sure. Sometimes they still do translate American books to Dutch.
Oh, really? Still?
Yeah. These little companies, they do it. It's very just a few titles. I see them sometimes.
Ah, okay.
And the translations are terrible.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely awful. It's like they put the English text in Google Translate and then paste that exactly in the balloon. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
No editing. So worse. Yeah.
Anyway, Mike asked Peter work on Valiant. No, Annie. I don't, man. I wasn't really that familiar with any projects Peter was on besides his Aquaman work and Punisher. So maybe he worked for Valiant. I don't know.
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Yeah, Aquaman did also grow his hair long and that beard goatee. Yeah, that was purely 90s, man.
Yeah, he did Our Marines, and I believe Solar, Man of the Atom, and Man of War.
Oh, that was awesome, Man of War. So he probably inked over Bart Sears' work, maybe.
You could be totally right.
Bart Sears did a large run of Exo Man of War.
Yeah, Bart
Oh
says art.
man,
Yeah.
I have that somewhere in my.
I
I'm not
believe,
going to look for it now, but
yeah, I believe Mike, who was in the chat, is a big fan of Bart Sales. He told me yesterday, so he's a big fan.
oh, so you knew.
He knows probably more than we do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We can't bullshit Mike.
No. He's too smart.
We don't want to either.
No.
Hojo says, define new generation. I'm 40 and my first comic is coming out next year. Hey, cool, man.
Wow.
I guess I'm a new old guy. Yes. Yeah,
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's not related to your age. Just when you produce comics now, new comics now, and you aren't from the previous comic book creators generation from that stable,
Yeah.
then you're a new generation creator. Sure.
Absolutely. I can wait to see what you are cooking up, Hojo. Really curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, let's see what I'll
We have a
call
couple
him.
of people in the chat.
Tank. Oh yeah, I'm missing a few people.
Yeah.
Tank Ferret.
Hey, Tank, how you doing?
Hey, good to see you. Oh, start with this one. Hail, all of you magnificent bastards. Welcome, Tank. Nice to see you, man.
Yeah, man.
What did I miss? Did I miss anything? As you asked. Then we have
Pops.
Pops Van and welcome, man.
Hey, Pops.
Present, my dude. I need a minute of your time. Oh, okay. You two talk amongst each other.
Yeah, you just chat along.
A move from hell. Oh wow. Sounds bad.
No.
Let me see. Okay, Richard. Okay.
Yeah, wait a minute. Before we do that, Tank, were you kicked from Twitter, or am I confused with somebody else? And maybe
seriously,
I don't know. I just saw somebody been banned or kicked. I'm not sure if it was Tank or someone else.
Ooh.
Someone that we know. I just forgot. Probably I have the wrong guy. Sorry, Tank. No offense, but I was curious. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things going on Twitter. People are getting banned, and then the next day they are back. I'm not sure.
Oh,
it's weird. Yeah.
I think Peter is coming. I just got a message.
Awesome.
Yeah. So cool. We can show before he's here. I can show the piece that he will be inking. He is inking right now. Let me share, guys. That's this one. This is our campaign. This is Perfect 10 issue 3, guys. So Richard, you were looking for new independent comics. So this is an independent comic. We're at issue 3. This comic won awards. I always laugh when I say this because I feel awkward about it, but I can't help it. It's true. And so we are finishing issue 3 right now, and it has a back cover, which is this cover here, this one. It's drawn by the legendary Alan Goldman.
So good.
It's so good, yeah. But as you can see, it's well, maybe you can't see on the screen, but it's all pencil work, and so it has a lot of clutter, a lot of debris, a lot of extra lines that shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
it's a bit sketchy, So Peter is going to clean that up. So Peter is working on making it tight. And yeah, man,
I really love what I'm seeing. Where do you find these guys? It's so incredible.
Yeah, well, it's
networking.
I think it's easier than ever. Everyone has social media nowadays. All you need to do is reach out and hey, man, and if you're lucky, sometimes I get lucky. For instance, I work with POW. So once you start working with one person who comes from the industry, like in my case, it was POW. It opened up a few new doors because POW also has connections. So this is how I got the artwork by Randy Green, for instance.
Yeah, was also another great artist.
Yes. So insane. Hey, Gordon, good brother.
Hey, Gordon, how you doing?
Nice to see you, man. Alan Goldman's been at penciling a while, and it shows. Yes, he's a veteran. Absolutely. Hojo says, I have the entire run of Solar. I just don't get a chance to go back and look at them anymore with having little kids.
Hojo, you can sell them to me. I happily will take them off your, and
yeah, just ask good money for it.
Yeah. Man, Jesus Christ. The entire run of, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, you're not wearing your medallion. No. No, I'm not. No, it's like that's a bit too much, I think.
What does it do? Is it going to transform you into Super Dave or something if you are rubbing it?
Oh yeah, who knows? Wait.
Is he there?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I will send the StreamYard link again. Maybe you missed it.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. We'll wait.
I will send it again. Paste. Here we go.
So, guys, hope you have a great day. It's let's say 10:30 p.m. Is it 10 p.m.? Is it p.m.? Yeah, it's p.m. But yeah.
Yeah. 10:30 now.
10:30. Yeah, p.m.
I think the good man is here. So let's stop sharing, and let's bring on, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Without further ado,
the mighty Peter Palmiotti.
He's I believe he's somewhere. Hey, Peter.
I hear something. Peter, you there?
Hey.
He's somewhere.
Yes, there he is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Can you hear
how are you?
Okay.
Mike, there's always been televised Super Dave Osborne in the 80s. Super Dave, what's that about? That sounds great.
Is there really someone called Super Dave?
Yeah. By the way, today I watched a movie on Netflix called Conga from 1961. It was so stupid. It was stupid. The effects were terrible. The story was awful. The acting was terrible. But I loved it, because it was so dumb. Anyway, Peter, how are you, sir? Peter, can you hear us?
I am. Yes. There's a delay, probably, is what's happening.
Okay.
Delay. All right. Right.
Yeah.
But are you hearing us fine? Yeah.
Yes, I'm hearing you fine. So.
Very good.
Sorry for the delay.
No worries.
Yeah. My crappy internet.
So you're already inking this page. We just showed the pencils, and I see you already inking. That's great.
Yep.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah. What I noticed, right, when you sent me the picture that I could use as thumbnail, a photo, I noticed that you inked segments of the illustration. So it's not like you ink one character completely and then move to the next one, but you take parts here, parts there. It seems a bit random.
Yeah. Part of it is, so when I'm, I work on a little bit of an area and I move around so that I'm not getting my hand over the wet ink.
Right.
Yeah. So like I'll show you like the top part is like what I ink first because I love backgrounds. I just dug into that and got that done. And then yeah, I did a bit of jumping around. I got like the bottom part is most done. So it like I zoom into the middle eventually.
Right. Yeah. That background that looked great. That depth effect. It looks fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
So you ink a lot of Alan Goldman's material, right?
Not a lot. I mean, I've inked. This is maybe third or fourth piece. I forget. I've been inking a lot more cover work or pinup for people lately. And yeah, it's like I love his work, and it's just coincidence. Like I'm not the only person who's out there who's inking him. I know of there's a piece that Shelby Robinson's inking that I'm really looking forward to seeing inked that we'll probably see soon. But yeah, it's just coincidence. Nicholas Gear got me to ink a couple of pieces over Alan's work, and I'm blanking at the moment the other piece I did over Alan. But I love his work. I mean, he's so detailed and intricate, and it's almost like when I'm working on his pencils, because I get the digital file and I print it out, and mind you, I print out in red because my printer doesn't print blue at the moment. The blue ink got jammed or something, so I'm using red. It doesn't make a difference. But yeah, I have to open up the pencils on my screen and enlarge them for like all the tiny intricate work. Like these guns, I wouldn't do those blind without looking at the pencils on screen, because I'm sure there's some detail here I'm missing, like with the naked eye, that I could see, like if I just blow it up on the screen.
Yeah. This is true. When I see the digital file, it has a few white lines. You see some contours of specific little details on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get lost when you print it.
It's just because it's so it prints it 11 by 17. This is the size of the page, and it prints it so close that it pretty much like looks like it's all together. But yeah, there's little details that open up if you put it on screen and just enlarge.
Excellent, man. Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Ojo asked, "Are you doing catch-up tiers on the next campaign, Mr. Brink? I'm late to the game, very late." Yeah, probably. I have a catch-up tier on this campaign. Also, usually I do it for every campaign, especially for the sequels. So probably the only problem that I encounter is that I run out of books. So this is why I had to reprint issue 2 or issue 1. And I think for the next campaign, that issue 2 will also be sold out. So this means I have to do a new printing for issue 2, which will then probably have a new cover also, because I like to give new prints their own new cover. So this does mean that the first print runs, you won't get those. anymore. So, yeah.
Great special offer. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So, Peter, we were just discussing which comics you worked on. We know you worked on Aquaman in the 90s,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm I'm mostly known for Aquaman back in the '90s. That was
Yeah.
when Peter David was writing, Jim Fury was penciling. Aquaman lost his hand and had a hook. So
Yeah.
that's
Run.
how most people remember that run. Actually influenced the movie a lot because he was a tougher looking Aquaman with beard and long and all that.
Right. Right. So, and did you also
Um,
did you ink? Oh, we were talking about that. You also did work for Valiant. Did you ink over Bart Sears material?
Good question.
uh, no, I went. My time at Valiant was really I was inking backgrounds, and I wanted to do more. Like Bob Layton, the famous inker. You know, he's known for Iron Man work and a bunch of other things, but he was in charge, and you know, I asked him, "Hey, could I do more?" And he really loved me in the position I was in, inking backgrounds.
Right.
So I was only there maybe 10 months, um, and that's all I did. I actually, you know, one of the inkers that was working there, Rodney Ramos, had me do rounds on a couple of pages overnight. And for whatever reason, I decided to finish off a page because I just got it in my head I wanted to without his permission. And I brought it in the next day, and he like, oh my god. And we, you know, at Valiant, it was office, you know, an office building that we all were in. It was everybody from writers and editors and pencilers, inkers and colorists. It was the greatest studio environment ever. Anyway, so Rodney walked off with the page, walked to Bob Layton. Bob Layton was looking at the page and I guess listening to Rodney tell the story. And I could see from a distance Bob Layton's head and get furious. So yeah, I never got an opportunity to ink pages officially.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh.
so I left there.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to take the chance, But in this case, it didn't
I
pan
took
out.
a chance.
Yeah. Oh, too
No,
bad.
but
So
the good thing is that I really like formed a relationship with a lot of the pencilers because they were working around me. Jim Calfury being one of them, which really led to me getting the Aquaman gig because Jim knew me and knew I was improving as an inker. And even so, he had me do examples of his pencils for the gig. Because Jim Calfury got me the gig, not the editor.
right.
The
Yeah.
editor
Cool,
was
man.
like, whatever, I'll go with you if Jim wants you. Yeah.
But you said that
But
you
so go ahead.
okay, yeah, you said something about that you were hired to ink backgrounds. So that was a thing that people exclusively did backgrounds, and other inkers did the rest.
Well, I mean, inking backgrounds was like really like how I got into the industry was filling in Black's for my brother, really. Like my very first gig, like was assisting Mock Texiera. I don't know if you know him, Mock Texiera.
Yeah.
But he was working on Ghostwriter back in the 90s, and my brother was helping him. And Jimmy gave me a call, and he's like, you want to make a couple of extra bucks and help my friend finish his book? I was like, sure. So me, Jimmy, and this guy Ken Branch went up to the Marvel offices late at night after 5 o'clock. The office closed, and back then there was nobody in the office, and we just got in there. There's no security, nothing, and started working on an issue of Ghostwriter, and I was filling in. Ken Branch was thinking backgrounds and inking figures, and Mark was like just drinking coffee, eating donuts, and penciling pages and inking pages, and we finished like half an issue over the course of a couple hours with all of us working on it.
Wow.
And it was that, doing that for 10 minutes, literally doing that for 10 minutes, I was convinced I wanted to do something. I drew all my life. I went to art school, but I got a regular 9 to 5 just to bring money and pay rent. But it was that experience that was like, yeah, I want to do this for a living.
Right. So you preferred inking other people's pencils instead of your own?
Yeah, much like with my brother, like my brother's really first experience was, he was assisting inkers, and his first work was as an inker. That was his in the door. And I thought about it. It's like, I could do anything, like, well, but what do I choose to do to go, get into comics and work in comics? And I was like, I'll try inking. And yeah, for the first batch of years, I filled in blacks, I inked backgrounds and some other, and also I got ink gigs myself. I knew I sucked as an inker. I knew I had to work on it for a while. But I really enjoyed it. I really love just, every penciler is different. Every inking gig is different. I consider myself a flexible inker. Like, I could ink cartoony style. I could ink really intricate like this. I can, there's so many styles out there that it's an endless thing where you can just be fresh every time,
Right.
Now I'm at the point where, yeah, I would love to pencil my own book, which is what I'm working towards. I got my own character retro, and I'll be penciling and inking and coloring, writing.
Chris Fisk is here. Welcome, Chris.
How you doing, man?
Nice to see you, man. And Derek Clay.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome, Derek. Awesome. Yeah. So, do you prefer inking over drawing?
Up until the last year or so, I mostly exclusively worked on pencils. It took me a little effort. It's like I'm 30 years in the business. I'm an old dog. I had to learn a new trick. But I enjoy it. I enjoy working over digital pencils. It's like secondhand at this point. It doesn't bother me like it first did, because I was so intent on, you got to give me pencils for me to ink it. But it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If it's original pencils, it sells sells quick sometimes, but that doesn't matter.
All right. So you draw digitally.
Well, I'm a traditional inker, and I'm going to be a traditional penciler. Which is, I might do some stuff digitally down the line, but mostly
Right.
I did pick up a tablet a while ago, but that's for coloring. Like I'll use the tablet for coloring.
All right.
Mostly.
You do everything traditionally, and when you color, yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. I saw John Hansen talk about the great artists. By the way, John Hansen is here.
Hey, John.
Welcome, John. John does everything digitally. Yeah. But yeah, and he says looks amazing.
I mean, so many options. Anyway, thanks.
Let's enlarge this so people can see
But to
it.
go, like I I did some work for Marvel as well, but that was more. There's a lot of random, like they threw me 2 or 3 pages, like even though I'm a slow inker, I don't profess to being fast. Marvel threw me. I got in with the X-Men office. I knew a couple of editors that worked there, so I got a lot of random pages with Wolverine and Gambit and Deadpool and Cable and Uncanny X-Men. And for all the work I worked there, I worked at Marvel for like 4 years, and for all the work I worked on, specifically with the X-Men, the only time I remember being credited was on Uncanny X-Men 360, and they gave me credit and a bunch of other inkers. That's like throughout the 90s, that's how a lot of X-Men books got done, because they had multiple pencilers, multiple inkers, multiple colorists. It was insane. There was so many books coming out, and there was so many coming out weekly, that they had multiple creators working on it. And I was probably the only one that ever worked in the Marvel bullpen officially, because they had me work there a couple of times to get pages done like as soon as possible. It was, I remember sitting in the bullpen working, because the bullpen was meant for like production, like getting lettering, tweaked, getting colors tweaked, all that jazz, fixing things on the artwork. The inkers, pencilers, colorists even worked at home. Everybody's freelance,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was working there once, and there was a tour going on. It's like all of a sudden I look up for a second, hear a lot of people, and there's Spider-Man. Some guy dressed up as Spider-Man giving a tour through the Marvel offices.
Awesome.
Wow.
Man, that sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's pretty insane.
It's great to get this background, this backstories, what happened over there. I can imagine how fun that must be.
Mm-hmm. John says, I do things digitally, but I used to draw traditionally in my earlier years. Dude, John, you're very young. Your earlier years. You must have been 16 or something. Mike says, I might need a second copy of Perfect 10 issue 3 to reverse inside the bag and board, face outward, and show off that back cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with the back cover, with pretty back covers. You want to see them, right? Yeah. It's imperative to credit artists. When I had an art director tell me that the game dev studio I worked in didn't credit their artists, I knew my days were numbered at that dump. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for games, you would think it's pretty simple. You have this credit list. You finish the game, you get the credits, like you have with movies. But
Mhm.
with when 50 people work on one comic book, I can somehow understand they have to pick and choose. I It's not right, but I can get it. You have limited space to work with. Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Yeah. Marvel did. I guess there was a lot of periods where Marvel was doing that. They put out so many books, and I think at the time they were putting like out 90 books a month or something. I do
Yeah.
remember like Neil Adams had the Krusty Bunkers, which were a bunch of it was Neil, Dick Giordano, and maybe Al Williamson, a bunch of different thinkers working under him that went under the Krusty Bunkers title.
yeah,
But yeah, it was like whatever, it's like I'm getting paid. I'm getting to work on a bunch of different pencilers that I wouldn't normally, get to work on. And, but it all went by so fast that like, it's like I wish I had more time
yes,
on this, like to work
yeah.
with
It's
these
like
artists and
production.
stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
too
Yeah,
bad you
yeah.
want to build your portfolio also, right? And then you're not credited. It's
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah,
Peter, if I have
yeah.
okay,
But Marvel's
yeah. Peter,
you know,
just a question.
it's
There is
at
this,
work and be
yeah. Oh yeah, there's some delay there. Is there
good.
a
Yeah.
some is there some creator besides Dave that you really, really want to work with again?
Um,
From the past,
I mean,
or not?
from a penciling
or not.
standpoint, I mean, it's like everybody, almost everybody I've worked with, I wouldn't mind working with again. But it's like in the big scheme of things, uh, one's lifetime is limited, and I do want to do my own books. Like
Mhm.
want
Yeah.
that to be a regular thing. Um, so it's tough. It's like yeah. But there is definitely like on my checklist right now certain people that you'll see my inks over that it's like the way my schedule is right now, it's like I'm busy at least until after this year ends. I'm utterly booked, and a bunch of that is me getting books done that have been on the shelf for years. Um, just working in the independent industry, it's like you know um, things get shelved, things get pushed around, and you're dealing with everybody else's schedule, and there's not the money that like the big two have. So
Mhm.
you do what you can to push forward, but not everything always works out.
Right. It's a good thing you keep busy,
Yeah.
because you would
Let-
think that traditional inking is dying out. You have more digital art nowadays, and many
Yeah,
artists also ink their own stuff. So,
yeah. It's the correction, really. Like, if you want to make a good living, it's like there's people using inkers, but not everybody is. And if they can take a cheaper option, that they'll go for the cheaper option.
right.
Using somebody who pencils and inks, or using just like a colorist who colors really good over pencils, like you said, and um, but really I recommend like people making their own comics, because I think there's more, especially going forward, like what you're doing. It's a lot of hard work, but you got to do it if you really want to work in comics.
There were these in the 90s. There was this. There were sometimes books from extreme studios, and they weren't inked. So you can see they were penciled and then digitally colored, and that's the way they were printed. Like, for instance, there was this series called Rejects that was done that way, and Rob Liefeld said it was because he loved the look, the rough look. But I was like, I think you just wanted to save money. That's because otherwise it does look better with ink,
Yeah. There's a reason why.
Dr.
Reino. Hey, Dr. Reino, welcome, sir.
Hey, Dr. Reino.
Welcome.
As a fan, it's what I prefer, like that pencils are inked. And got an opportunity to ink over. Love his work, love his book. Looking forward to reading it. It just everything looks better if it's inked. It is a crispness to the finished work. Just can't reproduce. Even with modern technology, it's still better inked because it is things inkers do. Especially the really good ones. And I'm not putting myself in top category of inkers.
Come on, you're a great inker.
I get by. It's just I love inking. I wouldn't be doing it today if I didn't love what I was doing.
Look, man, I think you're a fantastic inker. I was approached by other people who saw this piece, and they were like, "Hey, man, let me ink that for you," and I was like, "No, Mr. Palmiotti is going to do it. I want the best." I had a question about your work, sir. So what are the things you think about when you ink? Are there details that you think, like, I can lose this part, I can lose certain pencil strokes that you fill in because you think it looks better that way, for instance?
Right. Well, sort of the overall philosophy, I certainly want to be true to what the penciler wants. And, in the case of Alan, like, I haven't spoken to Alan in more than a few cases. I'm just doing the best, as I see it for what he's putting down in pencil. And so I always want to be true to the pencil. So, if it's like this, if it's a very intricate style, I don't want to simplify it. That would be going against what's there. I want to improve upon it. I don't want to stray from it. So in the many styles I've worked on, that is always the case. It's right there.
Yeah, you worked with Derek also. Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
So I'm not trying to really add anything. I'm just trying to make the line work the best it can be.
Right.
Especially with something this very detailed. Usually what I want to do is really, like, there's a lot of 3D dimension to this. But I'm, I feel the need to punch it up, but I can't punch it up too much without losing a lot of detail. So I'm leaving some of that to the colorist. But there is like, you'll see a thicker lines on some things, where I feel like it's necessary.
So
I'm trying to clarify.
you add this little weight
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm trying to clarify when it comes to like the feathering and cross hatching. I'm trying to make that clearer. Like the feathering that's going here probably wasn't line for line true, but the spirit of the line work is there.
Yes.
And so you can blow up the pencils and blow up the inks, do a side by side, and see the subtle differences. And it's like the precision to the differences is insane, but it's just like that's my mind. It's like it's just trying to lay down more clarification as I see it as I go.
Yeah. Yes. You have this one character in the upper left corner. He's completely black, right? So he in the comic book he is like filled with this cosmic background. So how do you approach this? There's supposed to be stars in there. Will you be adding them somehow, or will they be completely digital?
Well, I mean, okay, so I'm going to ink the whole, and then he'll be filled in totally black. I do stars traditionally, but this is where I would leave a little note to you, because the way I do stars is maybe not the way you want to see the character have stars. So I made a note, like, feel free to change the star field if that's your thing.
Yes.
Because I do stars like, I don't know if remember Jim Stallings' work,
Yes.
And he did, and his star field, his stars were very not heavy. They were done by hand. Is how I do them. Some people do it with like a toothbrush and spray white dots on them, but I do it by hand. I do like as intricate as I lay lines traditionally. The black lines, I do the stars in white by hand. So it won't be like billions of stars. It will be maybe 80 stars or I don't know. You'll see, and you'll get to judge like if you like it or not, and you're free to change it or whatever. We could do everything digitally now, so just go ahead.
Yes, exactly.
Give it a good star field.
It makes your work a little bit easier, I think. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey, Ali Queen is here. Welcome, Ali.
Hey, Ali.
Ali is the voice of 10.
What?
Main character 10, yes.
Wow. Perfect.
She says traditional inks look so amazing. This is lovely. Yeah, we're so used to a lot of stuff being digital nowadays. So this is really cool to see.
Traditional for me is still the best. I don't know. It's just I have a lot of passion and respect for old style craft. I don't know. It feels nicer. I mean, it looks nicer to look at. Sure, probably don't say it very well, but I'm really enjoying traditional work. Doesn't matter if it's inking or penciling. I don't know. It has something. It has something special for me.
Yes.
Not that it's digital or bad or something, but there's something about original traditional inking or penciling that is stands out for me anyway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Peter. Peter, we can take a look at your own project if you like.
I guess I could share screen and let's see.
Well, it's technically your thing. We wanted to talk about you, about your work, what you're working on. you know. So
Shill it, I say.
Yeah.
if you have something you want to show us, if you're working on something right now
Okay.
and
This is
you're proud of it, then show it, man. Ellie says, "I'm so happy I got to help out in my
I got
little way.
things
Thank you for
all in my
giving me a
studio.
chance." Yeah, yeah. Ellie is just perfect as tense voice. Every time I read the comic now, I imagine Ellie's voice in there. So yeah. Peter, I think I have
Let's see.
something. I have your Be Legendary illustration site. Do you want me to share that one?
Oh, okay. We could look. Yeah, we can. Well, it's not. It doesn't really represent what I'm working on now. It's like old
Yeah,
stuff.
whatever you want, sir. Whatever you want.
Yeah. I'll grab a folder. Let's see. I know I've been meaning to clean up my computer, but
he's looking for something. Okay, guys, in the chat, if you have questions for Peter, please drop them in the chat. This is your chance to ask questions to a legend.
Inking techniques or how to ink or like get specific.
Yes, maybe there are some wannabe inkers. Yeah. Oh wow! And now Ali's doing Elvira's voice for what?
What? Really?
For real? Fantoma's voice in Tiger Blue 2 and Boss. Yeah, I know you did Boss. I don't think your name fits Boss. I'm very sorry, but the other ones maybe it does. I don't know. To me, you're always perfect. Oh, Ali asked, "Why did you start inking?" Yeah. You kind of told a little bit, but for Ali, maybe.
Well, I drew all my life, and while like now and then, I like my character Retro, I came up with in the late '70s. So like there was an interest in comics, and it came and went depending on where I was in my life, but I always loved comics. I grew up reading comic strips and newspapers, and eventually got into reading comics. Like the first comics, me and Jimmy, my brother, who's also in the industry, that anybody doesn't know that. We went to a local barber and saw copies of Archie and some other books similar to that, like there, and that first got us into comics. And we eventually went to comic book stores and comic conventions that like my dad took us to, and got into Marvel and DC and whatever indie comics were back then. And he went to art school. I went to art school. Jimmy's like a year and a half older than me, so I kind of always followed in his footsteps. I'm the youngest of four brothers. We're all artistic in some way, but me and Jimmy are the ones that got into comics. And I knew once I did decide to get into comics that he already had a career going, and I was coming from nothing. But I decided to take the plunge because I like comics so much. But I did attempts at penciling and inking and creating my own characters. Failed attempts before I started this professionally. And so it's like I had experience, but before like I was 28 when I decided to do this as a career. And it was the first major decision in my life where, up until that point, I wasn't really committed to anything. It's like I had a day job and I was really good at following orders and having a day job and all that. But making the decision to really do comics is like, essentially you were freelance. You had to go look for work. You had to work with people. You had to, not only convince them that you could do the job, but you're a nice guy. All this,
Right. Yeah.
And it was different back then. There was no internet. It was just me going to conventions or meeting people at comic book stores. That was the opportunity. It was like putting in legwork and talking with people and, hey, what do you got going on? Do you need an inker? It's like, I've done some stuff. You show them your portfolio of work. I print stuff out and show them. I bring stuff around to different publishers. And I always went for the littler guy. I didn't go for the bigger companies. That's how you learn. Like you learn by making mistakes and doing it wrong before you do it right. I just, kept at it and worked on my skill. Really the first 3 or 4 years, I was working 7 days a week around the clock as I could because I want to improve my skills and get better gigs. Even before I worked at Valiant, which, was semi early in my career, I did get a couple of gigs through Marvel, but they were like a couple of pages. Well, my very first gig through Marvel was pages from a Marvel story.
Right.
Yeah,
It's sometimes a little difficult to hear you. The sound sometimes. Thanks, Mike, by the way, for reminding me of the ticker. Mike always comes through. We have a few more questions for you, Peter.
And
Peter?
Is he still there?
Can you hear me?
Sorry about that.
It happens.
Yeah,
Can you hear us?
Okay.
Okay. We have another question. We have a question from John Hansen.
Right.
Do you use colored inks?
Oh, nice.
Peter,
yes,
you
I
still
can
there?
hear you.
Oh,
Did I drop out?
A little bit.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still here.
We have a huge lag. I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
I'm asking my question now, and he
type
gets
in the
like
chat.
30 seconds later. It was better earlier, right?
I hope it doesn't take 6 hours to reach him.
No, it takes long now. Yes.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you use colored inks sometimes?
Yeah.
Definitely there's something going on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'm not sure if Peter can't hear us, or if the lag is so long.
Yeah, even his image is frozen. So yeah, I believe he's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you see his arm is not moving?
All right. All right.
I believe he's blinking out.
Ah, too bad.
Shit.
It was a good question. Now we never know if he uses colored inks. And Ali had a nice question. What's the craziest comic created thing that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah, that's a nice question.
I hope we find out.
I hope he comes back.
Yes. And do you wish they gave Jason Momoa a hook hand?
Dang it.
Sorry, John. We tried, man. We tried. Oh, yeah.
Finally, we
Yeah.
get into questions and he dips out.
I don't know. Maybe he comes back.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
hope.
know.
Well, we
But
stick
he
around.
had his own comic also, so we wanted to show that.
Yeah, I'm
current
really
project.
curious. I
Yeah.
didn't know. Like us, I'm not really have knowledge about inking itself. You know, I like seeing stuff, but the whole process, not entirely sure how it all works and how people actually, ink. What's the process? What's the thought process? Just,
Right.
I mean, it's probably way more difficult than I think it is. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that he is, explaining all this stuff.
Yeah. I also not so much now, but I used to draw. And I drew pinups and sequentials and stuff, and everything was traditional back then. It was the 90s when I really started to go at it, and I also inked my own things. So I had these fine liners in various what do you say, thickness, different variations. But it's really a craft. You have to work with line variation. You can't make every line the same width throughout.
Yeah.
That's boring. That it brings the work to life when you have these little variations in width in a line, and it gives it gives it weight also.
Yeah, but I can imagine if you have an original piece from an artist, and you mess it up accidentally, I can imagine the stress. Ah, he comes
Oh
back.
yeah. One wrong line and it's yeah.
It's more stuff than actually. Hey, Peter. Oh no. We hear something, but
You hear me now?
We
yes.
can hear you.
I'm here.
Can
Can you hear
you hear us, sir?
Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, I'm in a small town in Kentucky.
Right.
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Good.
Okay.
Uh,
There's like
yeah, I'm in a small town in Kentucky.
maybe
My
10 seconds lag or something.
isn't that great.
Okay, then maybe we should immediately ask the question of one of the panels.
Yeah,
Yes.
the first question. Do you use colored inks?
Yeah.
Peter, do you use colored inks?
Oh man.
The only color I use is black.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then we had another question. Let me see. That was from
You
Ali.
hear me?
Yes. Yes. We
Yeah.
heard it.
The only color I use is black.
Good. Okay.
Okay. Only black. Okay. And what is the craziest comic related thing that ever happened to you?
Oh, my internet's crapping out.
Oh no. Come back.
I don't think you're.
It's happening again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we're having trouble. We're having trouble hearing you, sir.
okay.
I believe we have to do how do you say, some smoke what Indians do, in the past. So if you have a questions, hey Peter.
The hills of Kentucky cutting into the transmission.
Yeah.
Probably happens, yes. But it's
Back
still a
to
full stream. Phew.
Great, thanks.
Craziest comic related thing. Is it?
Yeah, I don't think this is very riveting for the viewer.
Well,
But it's just a technical issue.
Yeah,
It's
it happens.
it went really well just now, but right now it's a bit of a technical thing.
more than
So
10 seconds.
yeah, it's very long. It's more than the 10 seconds. It's very difficult to have a conversation right now. So, but anyway,
What?
yeah, we can't hear him.
Does he have Twitter or something, or social media?
Yes, he has Twitter, social media. I have put all his links in description of this video also, so people can follow him.
Ask
So
him
guys,
questions.
I'm just going to share our campaign page. Oh wait, let me hide Ali's wonderful question, because this is the piece that Peter is inking. We are a bit late with finishing issue 3, but now you can see why. There wasn't even planned. I didn't know. I got Alan Goldman to make a pinup, so when he say, yeah, I'm going to do it, I was like, holy shit. So production got delayed. Now it needs to be inked. So you saw it's in progress. It needs to be colored afterwards, and this will be the back cover of the book. So everyone gets this. It's a beautiful piece. It's very expensive, but it's worth it, and I want you guys to have the best. So yeah. As long as we're producing, we'll be in demand. I hope you guys check that out. The other books are all printed. So we also have Crossworlds. Oh, look at this one. This is from Randy Green.
Yeah,
amazing.
That's a nice piece.
And this, by the way, this is the back cover of the second printing of issue 1. So you get this also. If you have the second printing of issue 1.
Of course.
And then, this book, Crossworlds, this is printed. I have this. I have boxes next door. They're done. They're printed, done. So all we need to do now is finish this one, and then everything can be shipped out. The link to this campaign is also in the description, guys. Oh, and we have American Bliss, Father's Pride Part 1. You can also sign up to that. I saw new pages today from the artist Eric, so he's working on it. Stop sharing. So yeah. It was great that Peter wanted to drop by, right? And we could talk to him. Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, at least we got him on. I mean,
at least we got him on. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
and we had a chance to talk. And you know, experiences what he is, his backgrounds and where he worked and his adventures, if you will. It's very interesting to hear about that.
Yeah,
so I
sure.
hope
I
he
wanted-
comes back soon, you know, and then we can ask him all these questions.
I wanted to ask him if he still worked with Jimmy sometimes. But yeah.
Of course, you know, Twitter too.
Anyway, Marinus, thank you so much, man, for
Yeah, of course.
for
Hey,
joining
man, I'm
me.
here for support and for the funsies. That's why I'm here. Yeah.
Yes. And special thanks to the chat again for dropping by, for watching, for your questions. And I'll be back next Sunday with a drink with Brink, and my guest will be RJ Carter with his book. So this is the first drink with Brink that is about a novel instead of a comic book.
Oh, that's
So I'm looking forward to that one. I hope to see you guys then.
Wait a minute.
Thanks, guys.
Is Jim Cox just jumping in at the last
Oh,
second?
Jim Cox. Wait, did I miss Jim? Sorry, Jim.
Sorry, Jim.
You have
but-
groceries? I think so. I always have them delivered to me.
Really? You're lazy. I have
Yes.
to walk
Yes.
through the grocery store.
I have to work. I have to write. So
I have
and
to work
write in
too,
the
right?
grocery
I
store.
have to write too. I have to working out and all these other things. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim. Welcome, man. We were just closing off. Thanks for dropping by.
What's
So that's it. Hope to see you Sunday, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Steph. Bye, guys.